We
Oh,
are
good
live.
morning, everybody. Sorry, I forgot to do the preemptive music, but welcome to the Victoria Real Estate Show. I'm Jane Johnston with the Briar Hill Group, and I'm here with
Jen Lowe, mortgage broker with Dominion Lending Center, Modern Mortgage Group. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. And Andrew is not here today. He is at a meeting. He is one of the new board members for the Greater Victoria Real Estate Board. So yeah, so there you go.
Pretty awesome for Andrew.
Yeah. So let's get started today. So we're going to talk about the pros and cons of working with a realtor, and then we're going to get Jen's mortgage update, and then we'll do the stats. So what are the pros and cons of working without a realtor or working with a realtor? Jen, what's your experience working with clients? Do you have clients who don't work with realtors?
The only time that can happen is if it's a private sale when a lawyer is then looped in. But I always recommend the importance of working with a realtor in having someone working up with their best interest.
So I generally find people want to work. Sorry, my dogs are going crazy. People want to work with the realtor because they want a professional on their side. And, obviously, we have lots of history and experience and stuff. But I generally find they want to work without a realtor when they want to save money. So, the question is, does it save some money?
Yes, and there's some misconceptions too out there with, when you are buying, there is no real estate fees.
Right. So they
Right.
are actually, yes. So when we have a listing agreement currently, what we do is we actually negotiate the cooperating agent's real estate fees. And we also, within the contract, if a buyer comes who's self-represented, they actually are covered under the contract that the listing realtor, because the listing realtor has to work with both parties, even though they're only representing perhaps a seller, that they actually get the commission for both the buyer and the seller, the cooperating commission. Yeah. So there is, I did have a property recently where a number of people were coming and asking me to be self-represented, and I'm very uncomfortable with it. And ironically, they were lawyers. The different people who did come in, and I think they feel like they know the laws, but they don't know the business.
Right. So curious to dive into that word self-represented, like versus
What
having a realtor represent them. What does that mean?
So when you have a realtor represent you, that's a great question. It means that they have a duty of confidentiality. They have a duty to look after your best interests over their own. They have a duty of disclosure. So they have to disclose anything they know about a property. And they're also, when they're representing you on a buying side, they're going to be somewhat anonymous because they're going to be you're going to be anonymous, sorry, because you're just going to be one of many of their clients. Whereas if you are unrepresented, the listing realtor actually has a duty of disclosure to the seller. They have to report your conversation. They don't have a duty of confidentiality, right, with a self-represented buyer. They also don't have that same duty of care that they do for the seller in a listing.
Mm-hmm.
And everything you say can and will be used against you in an offer.
What your max price is.
Yeah, and what I find is generally a lot of buyers, when they come in and they do want to be self-represented, is they tell me way too much information.
Right.
I've got my place and it's worth this much money.
Yes. Yeah. We have to have it. Yeah.
The other thing is when you're working with the realtor knows what the trends are in the area. They also have they have market knowledge. I have a whole bunch of notes here. They can help you get your financing approved, right? So they'll introduce you to a mortgage broker and get you all prepared.
Yeah.
So you go in knowing how much you can spend. They'll also, because working with a realtor will give you market knowledge, they'll provide you with the comps in the area.
It's the difference of having potentially a smooth, seamless transaction, whereas one that could go off the rails. And if it goes off the rails, who do you go to for help?
Recently we had a seller contact us about doing a listing. And then they asked me for 3 names of 3 realtors. So I gave them 3 names. And then they chose a realtor. And then it turns out they actually accepted an offer privately and they got into trouble. So they went back to the realtor they'd chosen, and that realtor said, "I'm sorry, I can't help you," because now they were in an agreement which she had no part of. So so that happens. So yeah, the thing is that where I've seen this in the past too, whereas a buyer's or even a seller has been approached by an agent, the agent is going to write the offer in a way that works for their client.
Hmm.
And you don't have an agent on the other side balancing it out.
And there's so much fine print.
And there's a lot of fine print, and there's nuances in like the terms and conditions of an offer.
Hmm.
So yeah, so a lawyer can write the offer, but if they're not familiar with the comps in the area, or they're not familiar with the nuances of what like issues there are in certain areas, like for instance, let's think Bear Mountain. What are issues in Bear Mountain? They have a lot of retaining walls. Do they have engineering reports and all of that stuff? What are issues
Okay.
in Machosen? Is it on a well? Is a septic good? When was it last done? Do you want it cleaned out before you take possession or do an inspection? So each area has different sort of nuances that realtors, if they're experienced, should be familiar with.
And we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars of an investment. I don't know why someone wouldn't want an expert having a realtor on their side.
I think it's about control. I think they want to control the process.
Hmm.
I think they also think they get the inside scoop because they don't have a middleman or a middle person to interpret what's going on, what's the discussion between the realtors.
Hmm.
I think they feel they'll like where I have been representing one party, I make it very clear I'm just representing one party.
Right.
But I think a lot of people feel like, well, the realtor may bend the rules or something. I don't know.
Huh.
The other thing is the legality of the contract and stuff like that, and understanding the disclosures and making sure that things are happening in a timely manner so that once you're committed to a contract, understanding what that commitment means.
Hmm. Right. That it's a firm contract.
Does a lender, do they differentiate or do they care if you work with a realtor or not? I know they care if it's on MLS
Yep.
or not.
If it's on MLS. If it's not on MLS, an appraisal is always required.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Because they want
Yeah.
arm's length?
Yes. Yeah. It's determining the relationship with the buyer and the seller, and then confirming that value of that property.
Okay. So, I think, you know, sometimes I wish when I was shopping for a car that I had a car specialist to come along with me to give me the pros and cons. You know how you have those people who know all the information? Well, this one
Mhm.
has a great reputation or this one doesn't. I mean, that's who my husband is. But,
Yeah.
and I've tried to sell my own car and I ended up having to pay GST on my own sale because I wrote it up incorrectly. So, like, I'm just saying, like,
You're not a
I think our
specialist in the car salesman or the car
yeah,
field. Yes.
I think it's an ego thing, and I think it can get in the way of a good deal.
Well, and it's no different with, yeah, clients thinking, oh, well, they'll just go into their bank and they'll get the best deal by walking into their bank and not understanding or realizing what goes in and what takes place behind the scenes to complete a transaction.
Right. Like, you're really advocating for the buyer to the underwriter, right?
Yes. Yes.
I think
Yeah.
that's the one
And
thing people don't realize.
um, I had a recent situation where, and working with the mortgage broker, the advantage. So we placed a more, or we were looking to place a mortgage with one lender because their rate was slightly lower. They had an issue with the client's pay stub being higher than their employment letter. Um, so they were getting paid more. But the reason why they were getting paid more is because they were doing a graveyard shift, but it didn't match. So the lender wanted the employment letter to be corrected. And people don't realize everything on that pay stub is scrutinized. So is their year to date correct with, especially as we're later in the year, are they short on their year to date earnings, for example? Did they take a leave of absence? We have to explain all that. And in this case, it made no sense, and it was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous ask to get the employer to change the letter of employment, because really, honestly, their agreed upon salary is less than what they're getting paid because of that graveyard shift. So we ended up switching it to a different lender and got it done, honestly, within 2 hours. It was phenomenal. I was so happy with this other lender. But those kind of issues that we're dealing with behind the scenes, that who would have thought that that would be an issue, I guess is my.
It's the same thing with the realtor. I find, like, after you've removed conditions and before completion, there's a lot of information that goes back and forth that we're handling without the buyer or seller even realizing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And talking about nuances, so we have a buyer who wrote an offer on a property, and then they were so excited they wanted to move the dates up. And I'm like, if you move the dates up, like, we have to get documents from the condos management. We also have to get some information from the lawyers, and they have to talk to each other and all this stuff. And they're like, I know, but maybe, maybe we should just move it up because then we can do our renovations. So I'm like, well, you're gonna have to get the strata approval on the renovations and all. And they were so excited. And then they it turns out that there was a gift letter involved, and so now they have to have some, or how the money is transferred and all this stuff, and they need to be in the bank account.
Usually it has to be in the bank account 10 days before the closing date, and it probably wasn't.
I don't
Oh
know if it
no.
was or not. I
Something
don't
like
know,
that.
but
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
I'm like,
Just
I
created
think,
a domino effect. Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, now we've changed it all back to the original dates. So anyway, good thing it was vacant. That's all I can say. Good thing the sellers weren't moving.
Yes. Flexibility. Yeah. And that's one thing,
Flexibility.
Jane, I got to tell you, you are a phenomenal negotiator in getting those dates to line up when clients are trying to get their sale and their purchase lined up. You
Is
always
that
seem to
not
make it
normal?
happen. No, lots of realtors are like, nope, can't do it.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. Whereas, yeah, you always make it happen.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Well, thank you. All right. Well,
yeah.
let's talk about you.
Okay. So
What's
what's
happening
happening in
in
our world? Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we've got, as we head towards another 2 weeks here, we've got the next Bank of Canada rate announcement on October 29th. What's going to happen? Well, it's possible that they may drop again by 25 basis points. What will determine that will be the inflation numbers and employment numbers, etc. So we'll see what happens. With that, we're definitely seeing variable rates, or clients are definitely a little bit more interested in exploring those variable rate mortgages, because there's huge potential for savings in the next few months, potentially. I always be very conscientious, though, in telling people, okay, variable rate looks great now, but at some point during your term, rates are going to increase. So you have to be comfortable with that. It's not just focusing on the lower rates in the short term.
So what's the variable and what's the fixed rate right now for 5 years?
It's about the same. Like, we can get a variable around, well, variable's a little bit less, I would say. Variable's around 4%. Fixed is just above that. So fixed is like 4.09, 4.19. There's also some 3-year fixed rates that seem to be right around that same piece. So if clients really feel like, rates are going to come down, some people are going with that shorter term fixed rate. So then they're getting that peace of mind and knowing what their rate is guaranteed for 3 years, but they're not taking that extra risk of the variable. Yeah. Another big thing is renewals. We've got, or the current stat is about 60% of all outstanding mortgages are expected to renew in 2025 to 2026. And people are going to be facing higher payments than they had 5 years ago. So
if they were unfixed.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
It's going to be a big wake-up call for those people.
Yes. Yeah. So most renewals that I've got coming up, we're making, and it's a perfect time to make some changes. We can increase the amortization. There's lots of different things we can do to help with that cash flow piece.
Yeah. And now they can amortize over 30 years, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's the biggest one that we've been doing, or I've been doing a lot of, is bumping up that amortization. If you bump up that amortization to 30 years, okay, yes, now your mortgage is going to be paid off in 30 years. However, you can, by changing your payments to accelerated biweekly, you can kind of help out with that as well.
Yeah, take a couple of years off.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's about it. Yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see what's coming in the next few weeks, and hopefully another rate cut.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's take it back to the weekly stats. So 7 days, we had 211 new listings this week. That's compared to 326. And this sort of correlates with what's going to happen for the remainder of the year. We're going to see less listings coming up. 128 went pending compared to 182. So the market is slowing down as we get to the end of October. And price decreases were at 130. That's compared to 209 because people are starting to watch, especially post Thanksgiving. They're wanting to get their house sold. So we're on a race to get the houses completed before the end of December. I will say I did have multiple offers on a property yesterday, which was good. So there's still activity if you're priced right. And expireds are at 59 this week. All right, list to sale ratio, we're at 60.66%, and that's compared to 55.83% last week. So we're still doing well, actually.
Yeah.
And year over year, the month to date stats, net unconditional so far until October 13th was 248 listings sold this month compared to 571 for October last year. 478, hold on a second, this is new listings overall. That's compared to 1,441 in October last year. So we were actually ramping up last year at this time of year, which was unusual. It really felt like it was hot. It was coming up to a hot, especially beginning of January. I really regret that that didn't happen.
Yes.
But, it was hot. Did you
The
find it hot
tariffs.
last year? Yes.
Yes, everybody was thinking rates are going down, and then we had the election in the US and the tariffs were introduced, and that just put a pause on everything.
Yeah. So it feels like we're having a bit of a pause again. And I think that's why we might see another interest rate drop. But I do, like, I was listening to Dr. Sherry last week and I was reading up on some stats. And there are very few markets that are really hot, Regina being one of them. Major cities like Toronto and Vancouver are still down. Single family homes are doing okay. Condos are, there's a glut of condos and they're not doing very well. So our total active listing so far, though, is at 3,555. A nice odd number for everybody.
I'm so excited that you got to listen to Dr. Sherry Cooper at your conference.
So she's interesting. She reminds
Yes.
me a bit of Benjamin Tall from CIBC. You
Yes.
know, they're both a bit
economists.
dry.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, they're economists. Yeah.
I'm like, Benjamin has a little more of a sense of humor. She was not very positive about where things are going.
No. Well, she's very conservative too, as far as I don't know how economists are, but I find she's very conservative. She's a fixed rate person. She's not a risk taker. So yeah, it's
to be honest,
great.
I was like,
well, it is. That's why you're a realtor and I'm a mortgage broker. I just am like, okay, what's happening?
She was interesting, but I was like trying.
Yeah, numbers, data. Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, actually, I'm going to talk to some clients about it next week. Like, I really feel we're at the bottom of the market.
Yeah.
I really feel the reckoning has happened, and things like negotiations on an international level are changing, and housing will change, but it won't change till the spring, I don't think.
Well, and one
Anyway.
of the key things that we are told is, positive news in the economy is bad news for interest rates, whereas the opposite is what we, yeah. Bad news in the economy is good news for interest rates, which is, I think, where we're going.
Yeah, true. Yeah. That's actually a really great saying. It's true.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, if you enjoyed the show, please give us your input. If you want a topic covered, send us a note and we'd love to hear from you. Don't forget, we are on every Thursday morning. Andrew wasn't here today, but if you want to reach him, he can be reached at 250-360-6106 and his email is info@andrewplank.com. You can also visit him on his website at andrewplank.com. Jen, how do people reach you?
I am at 250-217-4925 and email is jen@jenlow.ca and my website is jenlow.ca.
And I'm Jane Johnston. I work with Sean Provencher at the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun. My number is 250-744-0775. You can email me at jane@briarhillgroup.com. But actually, it's faster to text me at 250-744 0775. And don't forget to look at our listings at briarhillgroup.com. And if you want to know about lifestyle in Victoria, please follow me at realtyteacher_remax_Victoria. And we will see you next Thursday at 9:30 a.m. We are on every week, and we are soon to release our Greater Victoria Real Estate Show website. So you'll be able to see things soon. All right. Take care, everybody.
Right on. Bye, everyone.
Have a great day. Bye.